Okay, so I'm just laying out the Stuga engineered hardwood floor herringbone pattern, ready for the guys to start installing it tomorrow, or at least preparing the surface to install. So with this, I had to do a little bit of research. The center line of the herringbone is not actually kind of the point. It's this line that I marked out here. So that's the line that we're going to go for. And then just thinking about the layout here, I think what I'm going to do is have one of the chevrons, kind of one of the lines, go down the center of the hallway here, because this is what's going to be most visible. On the left hand side, that's going to be a kitchen, so all that's going to be covered anyway. So this is really the area that you're going to see. So I'm going to try and align it with that. One of the lines in the center there, and then the rest of it can just work off that. And that can go all the way back into the bedroom here. You have to figure out the transition with the marble tile here. Right back into the bedroom. And around the edges, we're going to leave an expansion gap. I need to look up exactly how much that is. But we're going to have new baseboard going in all the way along these lines here. We're gonna have jambs put in here, so we might put the flooring under the jamb with the expansion gap around here, and right up against the door I think we're going to do like a quarter round or something like that, just to hide that expansion gap. Same deal around here. So on the bifold, we'll do a quarter round and then tuck it under the door jamb there, and then there'll be baseboards all the way along here. So that's what we're looking at. This is an engineered hardwood floor. A few people told me that they could put solid hardwood floors down on a concrete slab foundation, and then a few people told me, absolutely they would not do that, just asking for trouble. It seems like you can do it. Based on what I've seen on YouTube, a few people have done it and had decent results, but I figured I didn't want to risk it, so better go with an engineered hardwood floor. And this is one from Stuga. It's essentially a Cars flooring, Cars floor. That's the actual brand on the packaging. But they've got a really nice website, and they're all about sort of Scandinavian style finishes. So this is a herringbone. Half of the panels come in a left hand. So the tongue, as you can see, is on the left hand side, and then half of them come with a right hand groove. So that's what you can see here. And the backing, some kind of balsa wood or some kind of light pine wood, maybe pine, in these little segments. I guess that helps it expand and contract if it needs to. It also has a metal rod that goes down the center of it. Probably provides some stability. And the wear layer itself is, I think, 3 millimeters thick, which is not bad. I think you can sand it a couple of times if you need to in the future. Obviously nowhere near as thick as a real solid hardwood floor, but I quite like the finish on these. It's a natural matte finish, and I think it's going to look really good once it's done. The last piece that I probably should mention is the slab is not completely flat. I feel like they did an okay job sort of finishing it, but there are definitely a few low spots. So I think the first order of operations is going to be cleaning this whole place out, cleaning the floor, and putting some self-leveling compound down in some of the low spots just to kind of level it out a little bit. and making sure the layout's good, and then getting started. I want these guys to take their time and make sure it's done right. Certainly don't want any gaps like you can see here, which is, just hand fitted it without any glue. But when it's being glued down, they can start putting some pressure in. I think the way that they're going to start it off is actually to put a triangle in here, triangle block, and that will be the sort of template to set them down against. So, pretty excited about how it's going to look once the new flooring's down, and I will show you a video of that for sure. So this is the flooring guys getting started. You can see them putting some self-leveling compound in to bring up some of the low spots and just clean the floor. And soon they'll be getting started with laying the floor. They're making a line, that's the center line that we want to have going down the hallway. And I will say that these guys, they worked pretty hard. They had really good reviews, but I think they weren't that experienced at doing stick down, herringbone finish, engineered hardwood floors. And so it was a little bit stressful, just sort of making sure that they were doing things, per the manufacturer's guidelines. And the other thing here was that because we don't have a vapor barrier here, this glue is supposed to be an all-in-one. It's really important to have a very continuous layer of that glue across the floor, so not leave any spots where there's no glue. And I'm not sure these guys were 100% meticulous about that. But you can see this first chevron going in pretty nicely. And this was essentially the first day of work. So now you can see them coming back and doing the next line, laying the glue. Ideally you want to keep sort of a wet edge with that glue so you can keep it continuous. And they're going to come back with another line there. So you can really see it beginning to come to form. Looks really nice. And another line here. Of course, the hardest part is actually filling in around the edges, and we almost ran out of boards. Thankfully, we were able to use some of the offcuts sort of twice, and because they're left and right-handed, we had to make sure that we had the right side as well. But ultimately, we ended up with just about enough to make it work. As you can see, we're putting the engineered hardwood floor under the kitchen area, which I guess time will tell whether that was a good call. What we don't want is water getting on that flooring under the kitchen area and causing it to swell or come up. So we'll have to be careful about that. It certainly looks nice, and then you can see the finished result here. I'm putting down some round board to protect it because it certainly is susceptible to dents. And there are a few dents in it that I've seen. Now everything's finished, but really I think we did a good job of looking after it.